Excellent. We're good to go. Enjoy. Now, I always like to encourage you. I'm sitting on a little cushion to breathe because I find it really useful to prop me up. In other words, it already encourages me in my sitting position to get out of my lower back and actually invite active work through my hip flexor group, through my lower abdominals. So again, protecting the spine. Side fact, trivia fact, you receive 175% increased compression through the spine when you sit. I know, not great, right? Reminding you and I, we're not built to sit or stand still. So reminding us to keep moving through the day. And if you do have to sit, to try and take breaks often. After 15, 20 minutes, you need to get up, move around, go and talk to somebody, move your ankles and feet. As you get older, that compression in the spine, you're definitely going to start to suffer. Oh, here we go. Have fun. Pop your hands on your ribs and come with me for a little moment of breathing. But first of all, would you like to join me? Just close your eyes and settle in. So just notice your breath. Take your thoughts down to the base of your pelvis, your sit bones. Can you feel those two little footstools? And can you just play with your positioning? So ideally, you want to feel like you're on top of those two little points. And to find that, you might practice rocking a little forward. Notice what happens in your lower back. And then come back and try and find center. Rock a little bit back. Notice what happens in your lower back. Come and find center. And then you just feel like you arrive. What should it feel like through your column? An energetic, upright, lifting out of the waist, as tall as you can. And where does that energy finish? Right up through the crown of your head. Now pop one hand on the crown of your head and see if you can feel yourself pumping up through the spine. It's like somebody's got a bike pump and they've started down in your lower back and they're injecting a little bit of air into each one of your joints in your lower back. And as you feel the pump, it's encouraging you to create more space. You'll feel muscles around your abdominal lower core area kick in. You'll feel energy up through your column. Switch hands. Keep working on the vertical, the upright. Double check your positioning on your sit bones. Remember, not tipping forward, not rocking back, but centering. Now try a breath in. And as you exhale, try to get a little taller. Energy up into your top hand. 2 to go. The hand that's on the rib cage should be inspired by the energy you're putting into your breathing. You're not overdoing it, but you're getting a sense of the rib cage, filling the rib cage as you breathe in. And then collapse of the rib cage as you exhale. You'll be surprised how far you can go. Switched hands, 2 hands on your head this time. Fingertips right in the center of the crown of your head. Keep practicing. Now count to 7 with me for breath in. Hold it, hold it. Now count to 7 with me for exhale. Hold it, hold it, hold it. One more practice. Hold it, hold it. Slow exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold it, hold it. Rest. Just round your back. Now tip off the top of your sit bones, rock onto the back side of your sit bones. And now draw your two sit bones together. You often hear this described as a tuck or an imprint. So I'm really rounded. I feel like I'm in my cat stretch position. And now I'm trying to be in this position. So the breath will mostly be focused into your back bottom side ribs. And every time you exhale, try to draw more deeply into your core, into your abdominal area. And as you breathe in, try to keep the tension in your abdominal wall so it doesn't fly as far forward. And it feels like you've got wings. So it feels like the bottom back ribs is where you're experiencing the breath. And then you're using the power of the exhale to deepen, to work those deep abdominals. Meanwhile, you're getting a lovely stretch through your back. One more practice. Good, and gently sit back up. Coming back up, hands on your rib cage. Would you like to practice some sounds with me now? Very beneficial for training your abdominals. We've been doing a little bit of this. Last week was the first time. Breathing in. Now would you like to hiss? Well done. So you might be thinking, how on earth does she hiss for that long? So what you've got to be thinking about when you start that big deep breath in and create that volume, then it's your ability to create the sound but control the speed. So you're after the slow, yeah, like you're wringing out the washing, getting to that end point, realizing that you've always a little left. Here we go. Hover, slow. Breathe in. Hover. You're going to hum. Breathe in. Hover. Now remember, slow. Gets a little more fun. Ha, 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 ha. Can you see my belly. Huh, huh, huh. Got to drop the sound in and then pump and use your abdominal wall to contract and push the air back up. Ha, 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 ha. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Have another little stretch. As we're having our little stretch this time, and remember we're on the back side of our sit bones, thinking tucking the pelvis, thinking drawing the two sit bones together, thinking rounding the back. Can you creep your fingers across past your left knee? Continue to imprint, continue to round, practice your breathing. Every time you exhale, draw the abdominals in a little deeper. Scoot around past the center, past your right knee, twisting, rotating, flexing. Keep practicing, back off your sit bones into the imprint and tuck, drawing the abdominals in a little deeper. Good. And rest up for a little side reach. Tipping over, trying to keep two sides the same length. Can you see my shape? Even when I touch the floor like fingertips, I'm trying to lift out of this side. Now go for your tip teapot motion, side bend. Keep lifting out of your waist, as far over you as you can. Come back up to your tilt, really feel the lift out of your lower back and your waist. Hit center. Strong through your arms and shoulders, tip. Remember, you've got to lift out of that waist as you tip. Creep the fingers, stay lifted. Now, side bend, far as you can, far as you can. Coming back up to your tilt. Remember, two sides the same length. Hit center. Go over. Lift out of the waist. Creep the fingers a little further. Side bend. Back up to the tilt. And sit. Great training for our side bodies. For the waist, we need a waist. The waist helps lift the rib cage and suspend it off the pelvis, which allows us to breathe, create space, and stack. Great. All right, I warned you. Time. Let's get them done. All right, so I've got my feet hooked. I'm just going to angle myself slightly so you get a better view. All right, trusty cushion between the knees. I'm going to fold my arms. We've prepared. I'm going to imprint, rock off the back of the pelvis. I'm going to roll through the spine, moving away from my thighs, loading the abdominals. Light touch lower back. I'm going to roll back up, keeping the shape, keeping the imprint for as long as I can. Release the imprint. Keep the tone in your abdominals. Grab hold of your knees. Sit stack as tall as you can. Lift out of your waist. And now raise your chest and face up to see your ceiling. Hold that position. Use your strong hands and arms to get us a little taller through lower back. And now check you haven't released the tension in your lower core. Return. Exhale. Squeeze the trusty tool between your legs. Kiss lower back. Hold the shape. Think imprint. Grab hold of the legs. Release the pelvis position. Stack, climb. Make sure you're not pushed onto the front side of your sit bones. How tall can you get right now? Use your strong hands and arms. Feels like your pulling is closer to your legs. Raise your chest up. Feel the space between your sternum and pubic bone. Feel your lower core. Release it. Exhale. This time, we're going to pulse. Lower back touches. lift off it. Lower back touches, lift off it. 3 to go. Roll back up. Practice your stack. Make sure you haven't pushed onto the front side of the sit bones, but rather perched directly centered on top. Keep feeling that position of your pelvis as you practice your basic back extension here. Good. Now you're going to steer to your left. So a small twist, but you're looking across your left. You're going to still roll back through the center. You're going to still kiss the lower back on your twist. You're going to return back up, hold your shape. Keep loading through the abdominal wall. Sit back up. Turn your steering wheel back to the center. Turn it to your right, looking over your right, but still rolling through the center. Really good for your waist. Back up to the middle. We have one more each side. Rotate and roll. Listen carefully. Turn your steering wheel to your right now. Come back up on your right. Find the center. Careful you haven't pushed forward onto those sit bones. Go right, roll down. Go left. Come back up on your left. Well done, everybody. Not too mean. Just a little load through that group. I don't know about you, it's going to have a significant impact now on how I feel for the rest of the class. Okay, here we go. Trusty tool between my legs. That should have suitably prepared me now. I should notice the difference when I go into the pelvic curl series. So spending a little moment, noticing feet, touching in with them, feeling all the toes, connecting the toes to my mat, feeling the pads of the feet, connecting them to the mat, feeling my leg alignment, and I've got my trusty tool to keep me honest there. Feeling how when I press my feet into the ground, already that helps me link my legs back up into my hip. And now I'm suddenly noticing my pelvis, the wide across the back line of the pelvis, the center narrowing across the front, but also my weight. I can feel my weight centrally placed. Right at the end of my spine, you have a flat triangle shaped plate called your sacrum. I want to be resting in the middle of that. That means I have to use both feet equally, and I have to connect both legs back into the hip. Now looking up the column, have a little moment. Can you experience the whole spine? So you have a gentle rise in your lower back. Don't push it. And then it tumbles back down through your middle upper back called your thoracic. And then you have a gentle rise through your cervical, cervical, your neck. And then you have your flat spread through your skull. So your weight spots, back of skull, middle upper back, and that's sacrum. And then in between, you take a little moment as you breathe, just to sense your own spine, create a relationship with your own spine, so you know exactly where you are right now. So you bring your attention in. Right now, you're focusing on centering yourself. Now come up and notice your hand. Can you open and spread the palm of the hand and connect your fingertips and the spread palm to your floor. Notice your arms. Can you outstretch both arms? Notice the position of your shoulder. Can you open and widen it? So then you notice the back of the shoulder and come around and notice the floating shoulder blades. Key word, try not to grip. So can you outstretch the arm without hardening your armpit or gripping your shoulder blade? It's like a buffet. Have you still got feet? Can you still have feet while you have hands, arms, and shoulders? What about feet to legs to hips while you practice hands to arms to shoulders? Then include the spine, the pelvis. Notice your breath. Gently imprint. Gently rock back with the pelvis. And return back to what you think is home base. You'll often hear it cued as neutral. So just think centering your weight again in the middle of that sacrum, that triangle base that connects the two halves of your pelvis. One more. Now stay in the imprinted position, the little tuck. Come up to the top half of the body, and in the tuck with the pelvis, can you gently nod? So really slowly, very small action. Can you tip the head on the very top of the spine like you're saying yes? And then gently return it. You're still in the tuck. One more. Yes. And now return the pelvis gently back. Keep pelvis centered. Say a gentle no. So you're just practicing a little rolling action with your head with the aim to release the tension out of your neck, the jaw, your shoulders, your upper back. As you take your gentle no, be aware of your feet, your legs to hips, the wide back of pelvis line, your weight centrally placed. Find the sacrum, not too far forward, not too far back, and then return to neutral. Now try that same gentle tipping motion in your pelvis. And it's kind of fun. Have you noticed? Intuitively, the head very gently tries to do the no in the opposite direction to the pelvis. So we call that a little counter rotate. Very subtle, but it's there. Just double check your motions are smooth. As small as possible. And then come back and arrive centered, neutral, home base. Pelvic curl. Exhale to rock. Roll. Sequencing through the spine, raising the pelvis up, arriving in your bridge position. And just stay. I don't know about you, but this is a tricky position. Hard for me not to get caught in my lower back. So I like to spend a little moment here to see if I can gain any more length in my lower back by sending my weight forward into my feet and lower leg. As soon as you do that, you notice your whole leg kick in. That's where we should be. That's where the weight should be. Now slowly roll down. Take your time. Move through your chest first, laying your upper back. Keep leading through your chest, laying your middle back, laying your lower back, An arriving pelvis. Careful you don't overshoot the mark. So where is the center of the sacrum without you throwing the rest of the back? So that little last part, I think, is the hardest. Take off again. Notice your feet. Start to stamp your authority down with your feet, particularly your heels. Because remember, as we raise that pelvis up, the higher we go, we've got to get the weight placement right. Otherwise, it's going to get caught in the lower back. We've got to look along the front edge of the spine when we get to the top or the torso. Do you feel like you're deepening abdominals? Really stamp your authority. Really use your feet and try to pull the pelvis further forward between your legs. Slowly roll back down. Lead with the chest. Keep tractioning the pelvis forward towards your feet. Laying the back gently. Try not to push. Think smooth. Control. Good. Let's take our trusty tool out for a second. Keep it close by. Let's keep that little distance between our legs and feet. Spine twist prep. You're going to tip onto the outside of your right foot and the inside of your left foot, and both knees are going to sway to your right. Now double check you haven't lost your pelvis, so it's still centered. Your weight's still placed in the center of the sacrum, in the center of the pelvis. It's just your legs, feet. Bring them back. So take your attention to the tippy point of your knees. You're going to feel a movement start there. As you're rocking left, remember you're tipping onto the outside edge of left foot and the inside of right. Keep feeling your knees sway left. Now careful, your pelvis didn't sway with your knees. So focus, deliberate practice. How far is too far? How far pulls my pelvis? Bring it back. Arrive in center and pause. Listen carefully. Actively press the right foot and suck and draw the right leg into your hip. Stay aware of the center of the pelvis and float your left foot a centimeter off the floor. Place it back. Tricky, huh? You got to maintain the centered position of the pelvis and the spine, particularly the lumbar. Left foot, press down. Feel the left leg sucking and drawing into the hip. Keep the pelvis balanced. Pick your right foot a centimeter off the floor. Bring it back. Listen carefully. Both feet. Center first. Pick both knees, feet a centimeter off the floor. Place it back. Let's do one more of those. Deep breath out. Stabilize back of head, middle upper back, center of pelvis. Pick. Place it back. Pull between your knees. Chest lifts. Next, deep breath out. Folding, flexing, turning over the top of the rib cage. So we're moving the rib cage. We're sliding the back ribs away from the back of the pelvis. We're sliding the front ribs forward towards the pelvis. Slowly return, feel your spine, creep your way back and lay. At the minute, my hands are on the floor. Where does the action start? Feel your breath. Shift your rib cage. It should shift so much, it encourages you to nod, flex, and fold. Feel the weight through your back. Slowly creep back. Return it. Hand behind your head. We keep practicing. Listen carefully. This time, no flex. float and hover just off your ground with your head. Think long. My eyes are still on the ceiling. My spine is still elongated in the neutral position. All I've done is hover up. Practice your breathing. Feel your feet. So your weight is still placed centrally. You've got feet. You've got back of pelvis. Keep breathing. Can you get your rib cage a little closer to your pelvis? Can you get your abdominals a little deeper? Lay the head. We've got one more set. Take care. Remember, the tummy can't fly up. Train it. What does it feel like to keep the tone in the abdominals when you breathe in? You got to be gentle. So the breaths are small, deliberately. One more. Now flex from there. Fold. Did you feel your rib cage move? Did you feel it tip? Back ribs away from back of pelvis, front ribs towards the pelvis. Pick your left foot just off. You've practiced that. Bring it back. Pick your right foot just off. Stay. Rotate to your right. Look right back into your right elbow. Just stay. Can you still feel your left foot? Can you still feel the centered position of your pelvis? Back to center. Take the foot. Try to get a little longer in your position. Turn to your left. Pick your left foot. Stay. Look right back to your left elbow. Are you still in the center of your pelvis? One more breath. Back to center and lay down. Well done, everybody. Arms back by your mat. Next deep breath out. Pick both feet just off the floor. Now squeeze the feet together and raise the legs to tabletop and just stay. Longer through your back. Feel the energy of the legs sucking and drawing into the hip. Deepen your abdominals. And there will be an ever so slight micro tuck. Spine twist. Inhale to tip your legs to your right. Exhale back to center. Mindful with the breath. Keep practicing. Tricky thing is, how do you not throw your back as you spiral, as you turn, as you twist? How do you keep your middle upper back on the floor? As you sway those knees, pelvis following. Last set. Finishing on your left. Good job. Fold the knees into your chest. Wrap your hands around your ankles. Fold, flex, push the legs up into your hands. We're prepping roll like a ball. So that's your roll like a ball position. Actively pushing your legs up into your hands, squeezing the tool between your legs. Your buttocks will be off the floor. Your abdominals are deepening. Your back is rounding. Slowly, gently, relax the legs. They fold into your chest and lie down. Exhale. Pushing the legs up into your hands. Really make a thing of that. Really use your legs. Round your back. You're maximally imprinting now and you're drawing the abdominals. Good, we're going to rock from there. Pick your buttocks up. Keep trying to get your buttocks a little higher, getting more of your back off the floor until you eventually arrive in the sitting position. Then from the sitting position, keep practicing the roll. Now remember, we only go back to the base of the shoulder blades. So the head never touches the floor. You want the roll to be smooth. Do you remember what we practiced with your legs? Careful, you've still got the legs. Rest. Well done. Whew. Okay, let's separate the legs. Let's practice our spine stretch. Let's start with the hands on the legs. Let's practice sitting up tall like we did at the top of the class. Remember, perched up on top of those sit bones as though we were sitting on that cushion. Exhale. We've practiced the flexion of the spine, so we know where that begins. That's the movement of the rib cage. The back is now rounded. My pelvis thinks imprint. So I try to slide my hands along my legs, but I'm imprinting at the same time. So you've got to get that opposition. And when you get it, you really understand the spine stretch. Now, at the same time, I'm pressing my calves down into the floor. Roll back up, release the imprint position of the pelvis. Find that centered placement on your sit bones and try to sit maximally tall. Try again. Inward pull of the sternum. Downward rotation of your rib cage. Can you feel your bottom back ribs lifting off the back of your pelvis? Can you feel your front ribs sliding towards your pelvis? Can you feel the imprint of the pelvis? Can you push the calves, the legs, the lower legs down into the floor so your legs feel maximally long? Take a pause out here for breath in, and then exhale, roll back up. Well done. Close your legs together. Raise your hands and take them behind your head. Practice your sitting posture. Check you're not sitting on the front side of the sit bones or the back side of the sit bones. Open your elbows. Really draw the shoulders apart and feel the elbows reaching to the edges of your room. Exhale to twist to your left and just stay. Are you pressing both calves down into the floor? Can you feel both heels? Can you feel the inner thighs closing the legs together so your heels feel like they're pressing? Try to look backwards. See how far you can turn back into your left elbow and return to center. Go right. Sitting up. Getting longer. Turning back with your right elbow. Reaching to your front left corner with your left elbow. Feel both heels. Use your strong inner thighs to draw both legs together and hit center. One more set. Rotate. Take your time. A lot of control required, particularly in your leg and pelvis department. Now really maximally turn and come back to center. Turn, rotate. Can you feel where that spiral begins? So it's right in the middle part of your back. Left rib cage trying to head with left elbow. Right rib cage trying to turn back with right elbow. And hit center. Good job. Hands back, knees bent. Raise your pelvis up and just pause here for a second. Can you open and spread your hand while we're up here? Can you press all the knuckles of your hands into the floor? Did you feel that? So you're pushing. Now you've got two maximally outstretched arms. You're trying to lift your weight out of your shoulders and send your pelvis towards your feet. You've got all 10 toes. Slowly sit. 2 to go. Get the hand right, push. 2 arms feel like pistons. Stay at the top. Check the posture. Do you feel the length of the back? Do you feel the pelvis traveling towards the feet? Slowly sit. You've got 1 to go. Feet, hands. Raise the pelvis to the strong and stable feet. Lift your weight out of your shoulders and then sit. Rest. Good. Bending over on your tummy. I'm going to take my trusty tool with me. Okay. So down on your belly. I've got my hands, arms, elbows wide, and I've got my middle fingers together. Then I'm going to place my head on top. Settle in. Feel your pelvis. Already start to work your legs. So the legs are trying to close together. You're using your strong inner thighs to help that. 2 knees are off the floor, so your legs are engaged. Lead forward with the crown of your head. This time your rib cage is separating on the front line. So rib cage is moving away from pelvis. Pelvis is the stable. Feel the tops of your feet to help the stable pelvis. Really draw your legs together to help you with the stable pelvis. Looking up, slowly lowering down, arriving back in our start position. Connect all the parts you're leaving behind. Feet, legs, pelvis, hands, arms. Bring the abdominals with us, so really feel the tone in your lower core as we look up. So careful you're not pushing the floor away with your abs. Feel your waist. Can you taper your waist in? And then lay back down. We're going on. It starts the same. Strong legs, connecting to a stable, grounded pelvis. Think forward. We arrive up with our bottom front ribs still on the floor. You're going to take your hands back and arrive in your basic back extend position. Next deep breath out. Try to raise the right foot, leg just off the floor. Stay. Make sure you still feel the left leg. So you've got 2 legs. One's up, one's down. Are you still centered in the pelvis? So right in the middle of your pubic bone. Can you get a little longer through your spine? Wider through your shoulders? Longer in your arms? 2 feet. Check the center. Without tipping, raise the left leg. Were you able to maintain the centered position of your pelvis? Check where you are through the spine. Feel like a rocket. Energy forward through the crown of your head. Keep breathing. Can you get any longer with the limbs? Check the abdominal tone. Leg back. Now you're going to circle the right arm around to the side, arriving out in front of you, palm looking in. Take it back. Check you're still in the center of the pelvis. Circle the left arm around. If you're feeling this in your lower back, lower your face and chest. Circle it back. Listen carefully. Raise the left leg just off. Circle the right arm. Bring it back. Left leg down, raise the right. Check you're still centered in the pelvis. Left arm circles around. Left arm circles back. Rest it. Sitting back onto your heel. Good. Laying on your side. Doesn't matter which side you go first. Whether you mimic me on the camera view or whether you're lying on your right side. Okay. So I've got my trusty tool between my legs still, which is great because I can now increase the energy just because of that tool. So I'm thinking limbs as long as possible. Side position is tricky, right? So use the hand on the floor, because what you've got to get right is this centered position of your pelvis. So you've got to lay directly on top of that underside hip. 2 shoulders facing your front, 2 pelvises facing your front. Center spine. By now, the work we've done, you should be really aware of your column. Next exhale, lift the bottom leg, which pushes the top. Just stay. Flex your feet. Point your feet. Good. Keep working on the length through your back. Breathe in to flex. Breathe out to point. 1 more. Good. Now you're going to try to rotate from the hip. 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Bring it back the other way. Rotate. Bring it back. Internal rotation, external rotation. 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Try to get both feet across 12. So that's a rolling action in the hip. Careful it's not a rolling action in your pelvis. Last one. Now, little challenge. Try to take the front hand. Then try to take it a little further. Try to bring it back and lower it down. Good. Drop your trusty tool. Hand on the floor. Top leg lifted to hip height. Raise, flex, bring it forward as far as you can. Hold it. Check your underneath leg. Arrive back centered. Now swing it gently behind you. Hold it. Check your underneath leg. Bring it home. Flex it at the hip. Raise it up. Hold it. Check your underneath leg. Bring it home. Point it. Send it behind. Hold it. Check your underneath leg. 1 more set. So you keep hearing me cue that underneath leg. Why? Because that's where most of us cheat. And send it back. So we want that underneath leg strong, long, and stable. Rest. Second side. Here we go. Pull between. Setting up. The spine, the shoulders, the pelvis. The energy for the leg. Raise the bottom leg. Pushing the top. Check your position. Select. And articulate through the feet. How much more can you stretch the toes? Feel your calves. Flex. And point. And flex. And point. 1 more time. Flex. And point. Rotate. Turn, 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 turn. And bring it back the other way. Turn the thighs to face each other. Now turn the thighs away from each other. Can you get maximally long through those legs as you spiral at the hip? 1 more. Back to parallel, hold it. Balance. Great challenge. Bring it back. Drop the tool. Side kick. Raise the top leg. Bring it forward. Check your underneath leg. Arrive home. Point the foot. Make sure you're pushing down with that underneath leg. And bring it home. Flex it and bring it forward. And arrive. Point it and send it behind. Last time, flex it and return and swing it behind. Good job, everybody. Come over with me. Drop your weight back onto your feet. Jump them a little apart. Now work your feet. So if you look down at your toes, right now, what am I doing? I'm trying to get all my toes, my tips of my toes on the floor, and I'm trying to see my mat between each long toe. Setting the foot up, keeping that foot, dropping your weight onto your whole foot now. Have you still got the toes? Drop your head, round your back, imprinting through your pelvis, legs stay bent, slowly roll back up. Arriving at the top, keep working on your feet. And when you arrive, if you've got a moment, just close your eyes with me. Talk you through a little arriving in your vertical posture. So I'm separating all 10 toes, and with my eyes closed, I'm trying to find a center. So where do I balance my weight? I want to feel my hip over the middle of my foot. I want to feel my pelvis centered between my feet. Which means to do that, I've got to push the floor away. I've got to push down into the knuckles of the pads of the feet, the front pads of the feet, which lifts my arches up. That energy, feel it, is encouraging you to stand with your legs. So legs are not resting. And then if you get the leg energy right and the foot energy, you feel like your pelvis then is balancing. And then you look up through the column of your spine. The openness through your lower back should be there. The space through the column of your spine should be there. The wide collarbones, the arms dangling, suspended by the strong, open, arrived shoulder girdle, and you should feel space between your rib cage and pelvis now. Now spend a moment with your head. So do you feel a bit freer? Attempt a little wobble in your head. So does it feel like you've got a little more movement there because you've unlocked? And have you noticed with our eyes closed, to find center means we're gently swaying. So it's a dynamic position. You feel the energy flowing through your body. Gently open your eyes. Have a lovely Thursday, everybody.